Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's town hall. This is another exciting edition of the Securities and Exchange Commission monthly town hall. We host this town hall every last Thursday of the month. And today, our topic is bonds. My name is Tali Mwala Mugala. I'll be your host for today's town hall. And today we have a guest presenter. As you know, in our efforts to ensure that we have a well-functioning financial market, we do not work in isolation. We do work and in collaboration with other regulators. So today we're joined by the Bank of Zambia. We're joined by Mr. Chikatu Chiputa, who's an assistant manager at the Bank of Zambia from the government security marketing and sales unit. So he's going to take us through the presentation today on bonds, which is a continuation of what we did last month. Because of the high demand in information concerning bonds, how to participate, how you can trade, and everything else to do with bonds. So I'll now hand you over to Mr. Chiputa to take us through his presentation. Mr. Chiputa, thank you for joining us. You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mugala. And good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, good afternoon. Let me stop sharing so that you can share your presentation.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please, you may go ahead.
Okay. Okay, is it visible from your end?
Yes, it is. You can just put it in presentation mode, like slide mode.
All right, let me enlarge it, then slide mode. Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Okay, so I go ahead?
Yes, please, you may go ahead. Our participants are standing at about 163 right now. We've been joined by people online as well as Facebook. We're live on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Mr. Chiputa, you may go ahead.
Okay, thank you once again, Madam Gala, and thank you, everyone. So I basically have about 14 slides to share with you on government securities from Bank of Zambia perspective. So as you can see from my presentation, this is my outline. I'm going to quickly go through all these areas. And then after that, we'll do a Q&A session, and that should be it. Okay. Sorry. All right. So the first slide is basically talking about what government securities are. These are basically debt instruments that the government of Zambia issues through Bank of Zambia as its agent to borrow money to finance its operations. And currently, these instruments are in two forms. We have treasury bills and government bonds. So government bonds, government is obliged to pay the holder of the treasury bill or government bond a fixed sum of money on maturity of the instrument. So basically, that's what government securities are. These are debt instruments. In other words, you actually by you buying these securities, you'll be lending your money to government with a view to earning some return at maturity. So the difference between the treasury bills and the government bonds are that treasury bills are basically short-term instruments that the government issues. for a period of 1 year or less. Okay, whereas government bonds, these are the relatively longer term debt instruments that government issues to borrow money for a period of more than 1 year. So for a treasury bill, these are discount instruments. So the discount is given at the time the bill is being purchased, which means that the buyer or the buyers, who are yourselves, you pay an amount that is less than the face value of the treasury bill. The face value is basically the amount of money that you get at maturity. Okay, in terms of government bonds, you get your interest semi-annually. And then let me talk about how these are issued. We've got two windows through which we issue government securities. We have got what is called the competitive basis and also the non-competitive basis. So in the competitive window, this is an auction where bids from investors purchase government securities through a tender and are sold on a competitive basis. Okay, by competitive basis, basically what you are saying there is that as you are lending your money to government, you'll be competing with your colleagues based on the interest that you want government to pay you on your investment. The non-competitive basis, this is where the investor does not compete. These are called the price takers. They just lend money to government and are willing to receive any rate that will come out from the competitive window. So treasury bill auctions, these are held once every 2 weeks on Thursdays, while government bonds are held once a month, usually on Fridays. And if these days happen to be holidays, we would normally have the auctions a day before. In terms of the issuance, treasury bills, these are strictly discount instruments. As I said earlier on, you pay an amount less than the face value. Okay, so for government bonds, these are issued in 3 ways. Currently, we are only issuing bonds at par. So bonds can be issued at a discount, like they were used to issue them some years before. They can also be issued at a premium. So the issuance depends on the differential between the yield rate and the coupon rate. So the way the yield rate and the coupon rate behave will determine whether the bond is a discount or it's a premium or it's indeed issued at par. So the yield rate is basically the return on the investment per year, and the coupon rate is a portion of the yield rate that the lender is willing to pay as cash per year. Okay, so the difference between the yield rate and the coupon rate, you can see it already there, that the yield rate is the interest that you want government to pay you per year, whereas the coupon rate is basically actually the cash flow pattern. It's how government is going to pay you that rate during the year. Okay, so the discount bond, by definition, is basically where the yield rate is greater than the coupon rate. The premium bond is where the yield rate is lower than the coupon rate, and the par bond is where the yield rate is equal to the coupon rate. Okay, so at the moment we are issuing bonds at par. Okay, so how are the interest rates determined? So investors in government securities determine the interest rate at which they are prepared to lend funds to the government, as I said earlier on. And through this process, interest rates are market determined, reflecting demand and supply in the government securities market. So when the supply of these securities increases, it means that the prices will come down, intuitively speaking, and the yield rate goes up. So you can see the inverse relationship there. So if the price comes down, the yield rate would go up. Similarly, when the supply reduces, the price goes up and the yield rate comes down. The level of liquidity in the banking sector also contributes to the determination of interest rates. So if there are excess funds in the banking, interest rates tend to decline, whereas low liquidity tends to raise interest rates. So on this slide, it's important to note that interest rates actually are determined by the market and are not determined by Bank of Zambia. This is what this slide is speaking to. And the interest rates are a function of demand and supply, as well as the level of liquidity in the banking sector. Okay, so in terms of the minimum amount, one that can invest in government securities. Remember earlier on I talked about the competitive and the non-competitive window. So if the amount that you are investing is between 1,000 to 499,999 kwacha, you automatically buy these securities through the non-competitive window. So again, through this window, you are not competing. You are just a price taker. You will just be lending money and you'll be waiting for the cutoff yield rate, and you will be accepting that rate. You're just saying, I'll accept the cutoff rate when the auction closes. Whereas the competitive window, the minimum amount that you need to invest is 500,000 kwacha for both treasury bills and government bonds. And the maximum amount is guided by the amount on a offer. So if you were to ask me to say, what's the minimum amount that you need to start buying treasury bills or government bonds? The minimum amount that you need to have in your account is basically 1,000 kwacha. So, who is eligible to invest in these securities? Okay, so the eligibility depends on two things. One, you need to be registered with Bank of Zambia on the Central Securities Depository System through your investor portal. So I'm going to talk about this later on. Okay, so there's an investor portal that is online. So everything that you need to do to buy these things is done online. Okay, so that's one. So you need to be registered. Number two, you need to have a commercial bank account, a local commercial bank account. Bear in mind that these assets are kwacha denominated assets. They are not in foreign currency. These are our products as Zambians. All right. So as long as you are a business firm or you are an institution or you are a foreign entity or indeed as an individual, you qualify to purchase these government securities as long as I said, one, you are registered Bank of Zambia, and two, you have a local commercial bank kwacha account. So basically, this is the eligibility that makes you qualified to buy these securities. So what are the benefits of you doing this? So basically what we are doing here is that we are providing an alternative investment vehicle for all of you. Okay, so government securities provide investors with the investment assets, thereby contributing to an array of financial assets in the economy. So in as much as you have other things that you are doing, such as farming, you can imagine we are coming from the time of drought. A lot of us, I think, lost a lot of money, which was good. At least it was business, we did it. But as risks will have it, we lost out, most of us. Basically, what we are saying here is that as much as we are doing these other things, it's important for you to invest in a security that is relatively risk-free. So we are giving you an alternative investment vehicle that can help you to manage your portfolio of investments as a way of risk management. The other advantage is that these are paperless. So government securities have been dematerialized and are now kept in electronic format on the Central Securities Depository System that I talked earlier. And this feature makes government securities safe and allows transactions in varying denominations. Here, but basically what we mean is that once you have bought your security, you don't have to worry that perhaps the statement that we give you to confirm that you have bought a security gets lost, and therefore to become something for you to replace that paper. What we are saying here is that even if you were to lose that paper, it will be easier for us to give you another paper because your information is in electronic format. So you do not have to worry about you losing your your documentation. Further, on this score, it will be very easy for you to either sell part of your securities because they're in electronic format. So meaning that it's easier for us to transfer part of your securities or all of it to somebody that you are selling or somebody that you want to give it. For example, maybe you want to bequeath some of your investments to your children. So you can easily do the movements because they're already in electronic format. The other advantage is that you can actually use these government securities to pledge as collaterals to obtain loans from your commercial banks. And the other advantage is that you are guaranteed the full timely payment of interest and principal at maturity, because the full faith and credit of the Zambian government guarantees that these securities have to be paid timely. So this is where the aspect of being relatively risk-free comes in. It's because of the full faith and credit of the Zambian government. The other advantage is that you have locked-in interest. So once you buy your security, you run with that interest for the tenure of your security. So for example, if you bought your 2-year bond, let's say maybe for 19% at 19%, it will mean that you enjoy that 19% for 2 years, regardless of the movements in the interest rates. So what that does to you is that then you are able to plan your cash flows because you are certain of your cash flows. So to be easier for you to plan. So these are fixed assets. Okay, so maybe just to speak more about the issuance systems. So effective January this year, government changed the issuance systems from the discount system to the par system. So this means that the coupon rate will be determined during the auction, okay? And since the coupon rate will be determined during the auction, it will mean that the behavior of the coupon rate will be the same as the behavior of the yield rate. So that in other words, the yield rate and the coupon rate will be the same. There's no difference between those two. So basically, the idea behind government doing this is to streamline government debt metrics and the debt service in general. That's why we changed the issuance system. So when we compare the two, the par bonds to the discount bonds, so the cash flows on the bonds are periodic coupon payments, and the face value payments are at maturity. So the Zambian bonds pay coupons twice a year. That's after 6 months. So par bonds will give you a higher coupon payment compared to discount bonds at the same yield rate. Okay, par bonds will not have discount income because the discount is distributed among the coupons, making the coupon payments higher. So we always get this question, say, which one is better between the discount bonds and the par bonds? Basically, what we are saying from our end is that they're almost the same. Only that the discount that you would get by using the discount method has been redistributed into your coupon payments. So you'll be getting higher coupon payments. In other words, the payback period for your investments becomes a bit shorter through the coupon payments. All right. So the face value for a par bond will be the same as the cash amount invested. I think maybe we'll clarify this point later on. So how is the face value to be determined? Basically, the face value is now the same amount as the cash that you invest. So in terms, before we used to calculate face values, now there's no need for anyone to calculate face values because your amount is your face value going forward until we advise otherwise by government. Okay. Will past investments be affected by this change? So past investments in government bonds will not be affected. This means that the amounts of coupons and the discount amounts on bonds issued before January 1st are not affected. So investors will continue getting their coupon payments at the same amount, and their discounts will be the same at maturity date. Okay, so it's as simple as that, Madam Mugala, in terms of what these securities are. And I don't know whether you want me to now to talk about how to do the registration. You can guide. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chukwuka. I think you can get into that as well.
I can get into that. All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Take
Just
the questions after that.
okay, just give me a minute. I just flashed that. We have the meeting with you. Okay, are you able to see my new slide?
Yes, we can see
The
your
new
screen.
presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, there is in order to make the customer experience on government securities cheaper as well as user friendly, the Bank of Zambia invested a lot of money in developing what is called the government securities investor portal. So this is investor portal is on our website. So meaning that unlike before, you do not need to go to any commercial bank, or you do not need to be found in a certain place in order for you to buy the securities. You can do this anywhere in the world, as long as you have got the internet connectivity, and as well as if you are able to access our website. So once you type www.investorportal, you should be able to get the link, and then you are good to go. Okay, so this is the guide. I'll quickly go through it. Okay, so the investor portal has got the registration functionalities, where the investor is able to register, to self-register themselves on the CSD. And using the same investor portal, the investor is also able to place bids for bonds and treasury bills. They should also be able to view upcoming interest and maturity payments. So this is a 24/7 portal. So once it's you've registered, you have it for 24/7. So in order to create the individual CSD account, by individual here we mean individuals, persons like yourselves. Okay, so you basically go to our portal, and then their portal will look like this when you log in, and then you click on a create account. Okay, once you create account, it will give you this window here, where you're required to indicate your email address and create a username of your choice there. So, for example, like Madam Mugala, you can make it as unique as possible. You can perhaps say Mugala Investor 5, something like that. Just make it unique, and then you create a password of your choice, and you accept the legal terms. So once you are done with that, the portal will take you to this window here. Madam Gala, I hope my slides are very visible. Not sure.
Yes, they are.
Okay,
We're
great.
following.
So very excellent. So on the user type, since you are a physical person, then you're going to choose the physical person there. Once you choose the physical person, it will take you some prompts there, your gender, it will ask you about your date, to ask you about the citizenship number. By citizenship number, colleagues, basically here we mean your NRC number. They need to also ask you about your resident status. Are you a Zambian, or you're not a Zambian, non-resident or resident? After you're done with that, they need to ask you about your address. Where do you stay? So country, Zambia, there, state, you can put Lusaka, city, Lusaka, and then the postal code, and then your street and your phone number. It says land phone number, but we are yet to change this wording to read mobile phone number. You do not use land phone numbers here. Okay, then when you click next, it will take you to the settlement details. Basically, settlement details, this is where now you choose the commercial bank that you'll be using to invest in government securities. All right, so if the account is just for you as an individual, you pick the individual account. But if it's a joint account, you're going to select the joint account there. Then you put your account number there, and then on the drop-down menu here, you choose the commercial bank that you'll be using. You click next, it will take you to this window here, where you'll be required to upload some mandatory documents. So mandatory documents here are your passport size photograph, your signatory mandate. Your signatory mandate is basically your signature. Just get a piece of paper, sign on it, capture it, and then upload it. And then it also asks you to upload your national ID, which is your NRC. For Zambians, we are very strict. We do not accept passports. We need to see your NRC. And that NRC has to be certified. Okay, and then also upload your TPN certificate there. Once you are done, then you just validate your email. As you'll be doing this, the system will be sending you some secret tokens that you'll be to your email address that you'll be copying and pasting in the relevant fields, just to make sure that whatever you are doing is safe and secure. So once you are done with your registration, this is the message that you get. You'll be redirected to the login in 3 seconds, and then you are done with your registration. Okay, so these are just the notifications. So the same steps relate to as well to the registration of companies. If you are registering your company, the only difference are the requirements. So the requirements there, let me just quickly go there. Okay, see if I can. Okay, this is where we are. So as you can see, it's just this similar steps that you follow. Okay, account updates. So let's see. Okay, anyway, without wasting much of your time, all you need to do if you are registering your company is that you need to upload your company logo. Then you need to upload your certificate of incorporation or registration. Then you need to upload your signatory mandate, as well as a letter addressed to Director of Financial Markets, requesting that the company be registered on the platform. So on the companies, if it's a limited company, the letter should be signed by 2 signatories, because we don't want the other signatories to come forward after some time and claim that they did not authorize the registration of their company on the CSD. But if it's a sole trader, of course, it will just require 1 signature on the letter. Okay. So once you are done with registration, as I said, the steps are similar as for the individuals. Okay. Then you'll be able you'll be able to use the portal. One of the functionalities that I said is that you'll be able to view your auctions and place your bids. So once you are registered, the system will start giving you notifications whenever there is an auction in place. So when there's an auction, you will receive an email to tell you that the auction is available. do you have funds that you want to place either on treasury bills or government bonds? Okay, so basically that's what the auction does. So government securities auctions are held on a regular basis. Currently, treasury bills. Okay, this one we have talked already. Just a repetition. So what you do is that once you have logged in, this is the window that you get, and the menu for the auctions is this one, the second bottom menu here. Okay, so once you click there, you will see the auction. The auction will look like this. All right, so it will show you the bond types, and then if you want to bid, you just click on create on the far right here. I'm sure you are able to see where it says create. You click there, and then it will take you to another window, which is this one here. So if you are placing your bid through the competitive window, you click on the competitive window. If you are placing your bid through the non-competitive window, you click there. Then just bear in mind the thresholds. So for the non-competitive, it's between 1,400 and 9,999. And from 500 and above, that is competitive window. And then here, where it says account number, you just click in the box there. You select your bank. Okay, remember that you would have already created your or linked your bank account to this system. So once you click there, you should be able to see your bank details. If it's FNB, you just select FNB. Then once you're done, accept all the legal terms, accept the fund terms, and then accept the debit terms, and then you place your bid. Okay. So once you place your bid, then you receive this confirmation window. Okay, so you confirm this amount that you want to place. Then if you say yes, you place a bid again, and you are done. Congratulations, your non-competitive bid has been successfully placed. Okay, the same way with the competitive window, only that in the competitive window, as you can see, it will ask you for the yield rate, because this is where the competitiveness starts from. Okay, so you go through the same process afterwards, and confirm your bid, and there you go. Congratulations, you're done. Okay, so just to mention to my colleagues here that once you place your bid, and if the bid is rejected, it's not the Bank of Zambia that rejects your bid. The approval and cancellation of bids are done by your commercial banks. So what the banks will do is that they will look at the balance in your account, and they try to see whether the face value that you have indicated in the auction can be covered by the funds that are in your account. So if you find that the money is less than what you have indicated in your bid, the banks would reject or would cancel your bid. But if the funds are sufficient, the banks would approve your bid. And in order for us to ensure that you have enough opportunity or enough chance to be successful in these auctions, we would normally create these auctions a week before the actual auction. Meaning that, for example, if the auction is next week Friday, by tomorrow Friday, the auction will be available. So you have the whole week to place the bid, so that if you make a mistake and the bank cancels your bid, you would have the chance to correct your bid application. Okay. Then the portal also gives you the results. You can use the bid to tab or track your bid application. Okay, to be showing you the status, and you see your new awarded security under your portfolio. Okay, so the investor portal also has got the reports functionality. So you are able to see your portfolio statements there once you click on that menu. And the corporate actions, you can check the upcoming interest, coupon payments, and maturities using this tab. This one will show you the transactions that have been happening on your investor portal. So in case you have got any challenges, these are the details that you can contact us on, and we will be happy to be of help to you so that you have got a pleasant experience in your investment journey. Thank you so much, Madam Mugala. This is where I end my presentation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chiputa. That was a very insightful presentation. I've learned a lot. I'm sure the audience has learned a lot. And we have a couple of questions for you. I'll start with the ones that are in the chat. And I've noticed that some were probably asked at the beginning of the presentation, and therefore they've been answered with the slides that you went on to speak to. So I'll not tackle all of them. I'll get to ones that I seen that you haven't maybe that need clarification. So there's a question from Mr. Kapondeni Piri saying, what is the relationship between MPR and bonds yields rates? The question says, what is the relationship between MPR and the bonds yields rates? That's a question for you, Mr. Chiputa.
Okay,
Then,
sorry.
Let me do two so that you can take two at the time. Then the other one says, please help us understand the taxes applicable on this on the investment. Yeah, you can take the first two.
Okay, thank you. So by MPR, this is the monetary policy rate, right?
Yes.
I think that's what. So the participant wants to know the relationship between the MPR, meaning the monetary policy rate, and the yield rate. Am I correct? Did I get that one correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so the MPR, this is a money market function. Okay, this is a tool that the government uses to influence the behavior of some economic variables, such as inflation, such as perhaps interest in the intermarket. I mean, in the interbank space. All right. So the relationship really is it's not that obvious from my end, because the where we are in terms of the yield rate, we are basically talking about the rates that are applicable to bonds. So we're not really talking about issues to do with the inflation or to do with the interest rate that the banks charge. But I can imagine that if the MPR is high, all right, what that would mean then is that there will be less money in the economy, isn't it? So there'll be very few people who have access to loans and everything like that. And what that would do is that it may reduce participation on the government securities space. So meaning that the demand for the paper now would what? Or the demand for the securities may come down. So if the demand for the paper comes down, so that would mean the interest rates on the government security space should start also going up. I don't know whether that will be that would be an indirect way of trying to explain this relationship. Okay, but from where we sit, the MPR, this is a money market space, and this is a government security space. So I'm just trying to see if I could give an indirect relationship between the two. So in terms of the taxes are just on the treasury bills. The taxes are just applicable on the discount that you get. The discount is basically the interest that you get at maturity on the treasury bills. And here, the taxes that are applicable are 15% withholding tax and 1% handling fee on the interest that you're going to earn, not on your principal. Similarly, on the government bonds, you only pay taxes on the coupons or on the interest that you'll be earning every 6 months. Okay. Again, on the coupons, you'll be paying 15% withholding tax and a 1% handling fee. I hope that helps, Madam Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chukuta. I'm sure that does answer the question. Thank you. The next question we have is from Moses. What is the coupon rate? What if the coupon rate is lesser than inflation rate? That's from Moses Chileshe. Then we have an anonymous attendee who has got 3-in-1 type of question. The first one says, what have been the average return rates on treasury bills in the last few years? Number 2, what have been the average annual coupon rates for bonds in the last few years? Number 3, is there a standard commission for the banks or the SEC when purchasing government securities or when receiving coupons or returns on them?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
So the first one, the participant is asking, what if the coupon rate is
Inflation.
less than
Inflation
is
rate.
less than the inflation rate?
Yes.
I don't know how I should answer this one. So basically, remember that this is an investment, right? Okay, so meaning that the issues of course, inflation does have a bearing on the time value of money. I guess that's well understood. So in this case, if the coupon rate is less than the inflation rate, it will be up to the investor to make what should I say, an intelligent investment decision, whether this would make sense to them or it wouldn't make sense to them. Okay, bearing in mind the time value for the money. I don't know whether that helps in trying to answer this question. So the investor has to make a rational decision to say this is good for me or this is not good for me. Remember that you are not coerced or you're not forced to invest in this one. You are just encouraged to invest. But even when we are encouraging you to invest, these are the variables that you can be comparing. So if you feel that since the inflation rate is way up, whereas the coupon rate is way below, then make a rational decision whether to invest or not. For the second question, Madam Gala, I don't know whether you can paraphrase it, but from what I got, it's like the participant wants to know whether there's information regarding the average rates and everything like that. I don't know whether I got it correctly. And if that's true.
Yes, the participants say they want to know what's the average coupon rate for the last 3 years. That's the one.
For the last, okay, so maybe one by one. So the average coupon rate, remember that we are coming from the last 3 years when the space of discount insurances. Yes. So during this period, the coupon rate was a given. It was determined by government. So for example, government on a 2-year bond, the coupon rate on a 2-year bond was not market determined, but it was given to you by government at 9%. Okay, so when you go to our website, you find all that information there. And then for the 3 years, it was at 10%, just like that, in that order. But now, since we are using the per issuance system, it means that the coupon rate and the yield rate are the same. They are all determined by the market. So where I'm seated, if you were to ask me to say what would be the coupon rate in the next auction, I would say I wouldn't know. I don't know, because that would be the function of demand and supply now. Other than the way it used to be, where it was a given by government. I don't know whether that is helpful.
Yes, definitely. Then the last part of his question is where he's asking, is there a standard commission for the banks or the SEC when purchasing government securities or when receiving coupons or returns on them?
Through you, Madam Moderator, I'm not sure what he means by commission. Is he trying to suggest that there's a commission that sits to decide this or something? But from what I know is that on government security space, it's just the Bank of Zambia and Ministry of Finance that act on this one. So there's no commission that is involved. We are the agent on behalf of Ministry of Finance to conduct the auctions on government securities, and therefore that mandate sits with the Bank of Zambia, and there's no commission that is comprised. Apart from, of course, we do have a working relationship with the Ministry of Finance when it comes to these auctions. Yes, so that's how it is. I don't know whether I've answered this question. It's kind of a bit confusing to me.
Yes, it is. Maybe we'll allow the participant to raise his hand and just clarify a bit further on his question. And then we've got some hands up as well. There's Isaac Banda. We'll allow Mr. Isaac Banda to pose his question to the floor. Clarence, could you just allow Mr. Banda to speak?
Mr. Banda, you can go ahead and unmute. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Banda. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
What is the interest rate for non-competitive bonds?
Can I answer?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. So on the non-competitive bonds, Mr. Banda, as I said earlier, the interest on the non-competitive comes from the interest that is determined in the competitive space. So basically, what I mean by that is that once the auction, the auction closes, okay, so the rates that are determined in the competitive space, those are the rates that those that have invested through the non-competitive window will also benefit from. So they are what are called the price takers. So once the rates are determined in the competitive space, those are the rates that will apply to the non-competitive. So everyone will receive the same price, or everyone will receive the same interest rates. Okay, so we use what is called the Dutch auctioning system, where everyone gets the same rate, regardless of where you placed your bid at in terms of the rates, as long as the rate was accepted in the auction. I hope, Mr. Banda, that is okay.
I still have a question. So, for example, if I buy a bond for 1,000 kwacha, my question was, what would be my interest? How much am I going to gain after 2 years?
Okay, so maybe that has to do with the the results now. I think that we earlier asked about a certain colleague for us. So again, if you go to our website, you'll see the rates that are there. So for the 2 years, the interest rate per year is 19%, Mr. Banda. For the 3 years, it was at 20.5% in the previous auction, just like in that order.
Okay, so 19%, that is 19 times 1,000 divided by 100. That is the amount I'll get after 2 years.
After a year, those rates are per year.
Okay,
so
after a year.
each year you get 19%.
Okay, thanks a lot.
So 1,000 times 19% divided by 100, that will be your interest per year. And then remember that this interest will be paid to you semi-annual. So the interest that you get, then you divide it by 2. So that's what you'll be getting every 6 months. And then you remove the tax components. That will be the net.
Okay, thank you for that response. We have another hand, Mr. Kapondeni, Mr. Siveso Like has got a hand up. Clarence, please unmute Siveso Like to. So while we're waiting for Clarence to unmute, okay, unmute. Okay, Mr. Siveso or Madam Siveso, please go ahead with your question or contribution.
You can just unmute.
Hello. Is
Yes,
my
please go
sound
ahead.
on now?
Yes, it is. Please
It's
go
actually
ahead.
it's actually Mr. I heard you asking whether it was Mrs. or Mr.
Please go ahead with your question or contribution.
Yes, this is my second town hall meeting. Like it's my second time like attending these meetings. So
Okay.
I have a lot of questions. So the only thing that I will request for is there like a link where I can actually just go read about all of this? Like I want to know all these terms like the yield rate, the coupon rate, the PAR, MPR, face value, all these terms. Like I would love to have more time to actually sit down and just read about them. So I don't know if there's like if there's a way you can help us to compile like a PDF or something like that, which I can actually just have and be able to read.
Hey, thank you so much for your question and thank you so much for joining us today. So, Mr. Sveso, I could direct you for the questions around or terms around the bonds, like you mentioned, the coupon rates and whatnot. I'll direct you to the Bank of Zambia website for more information. I know the investor portal has got information. Then for the access to previous town halls, we have been live on Facebook for the past 2 or 3 years now. So you have access to all the town halls that we've ever hosted. So if you just go back on Facebook, you'll be able to have access to all the town halls. And then if you share your email address, we can also share all the presentations from the past as well. Thank you. I hope that helps.
Okay.
Yes.
Where can I share the email address? My email address?
In the chat. We'll be able
In the
to,
chat.
yes, in the chat, the Q&A function or the chat function, we'll be able to respond to you and send you the information. Yes, thank you.
Okay, can I ask like one final question? Is it possible?
Okay, and I mean,
Just one.
please.
Yes.
Okay.
My final question is, what is the longest period in which you can lock in your investment? And then suppose I buy a bond, for example, at 100,000 kwacha bond, and then I lock it in for like maybe 15 years. The interest rates, the coupon, I think the coupon payments, are they going to be paid after the entire period, or it's the same after 6 months, like the coupon payments will be paid in the account, or how does it work?
All right.
After that presentation, but you can respond, sir.
Okay. So I think the first part of the question was the longest tenure. So Mr. Sveso, right? So Mr. Sveso, we have got 6 bonds. So we have the longest is a 15-year bond. And then we have got the 10-year bond, we have the 7-year bond, 5-year, 3-year, and the shortest one is the 2-year bond. And in terms of the interest, they follow the normal yield curve, meaning that the shorter the period, the lower the rates tends to be, and the longer the period, the higher the rates tend to be. That's one. So for if you lock in your money for any of those tenors, it will mean that your 100,000 will be paid back to you after that period. That's one. And then number two, your interest that you'll be earning every year will be paid to you in 2 installments, which are called coupons. So every 6 months you'll be getting a portion of your yearly interest going forward. So you don't have to wait for example, for 15 years for you to get all your coupon payments. You'll be getting those coupons along the way.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chukwuta, and I'm sure that has answered Mr. Siveso's question. We have some more questions in the chat. There's one that's coming from Mr. Kapondeni Piri. He's asking, is it possible to change the account number on your investor portal? So once I open an account and I'd like to edit my account from, let's say if I've been using ABSA and I want to use money from like an FNB account, is it possible to make that change?
Yes, please. You said Mr. Kaponda, right?
Mr. Kapondeni Piri.
Yes, Mr. Piri. So you can change. Not the word is not really change, but you can add as many accounts as you want. So, for example, you can have your Barclays account on your portal. You can also, if you have got another account with Zanaco, you can also add it there. But if you want any of them to be disabled, then you can reach out to us, and then we will disable it. Now, there's a caveat there. For instance, if you purchased any security using any of the banks that you want to be deactivated, it would mean that we will need to move your funds from that bank to the bank that you want to be using. That's the only way we can remove it from the portal. But not really to remove as far as we are concerned, but you can add as many accounts as you want. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for that response. We have another question from an anonymous attendee saying, cumulatively, it has been noticed that there's a significant drop in the market value of outstanding bonds on a year basis in 2024 compared to 2023. What could be the factors that have led to this?
Through you, Madam Moderator, is the questions speaking to the fact that there is less interest on bonds now than there was last year? Or
it could be.
Or what could be the question?
Because it doesn't, yes, it doesn't specify, but I'm thinking maybe it means interest in terms of interest in the bonds, like you're saying, in participation.
Interest in the bond. So through you, Madam Moderator, again. Actually, the converse is true. We are seeing huge volumes in terms of interest to participate in government securities, especially this year, and especially with the deployment of the investor portal. This has really helped a lot of clients to self-onboard and it also self-participate in these auctions without hassles. So on a quarter-by-quarter basis, for us here, especially the retail investors. By retail investors, I mean individuals like the anonymous participant and ourselves. The numbers have been increasing exponentially. So we have not seen the decrease, Madam Moderator.
Okay, yeah, because I would also think because it's now easy for one to participate, that should spur more interest, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we are live on Facebook, and unfortunately, we've come to, like, our time is almost running out. So I'll allow our participants from Facebook to also, I'll allow Clarence to just just assist us with comments from our Facebook crowd. We've got some questions there as well. Clarence, just take us through 1 or 2 questions from Facebook before we close. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Let me start with a question from Helen Banda. So when is cash deducted from our accounts when we invest because it's been a week and the money has not been deducted? That's the first question. Second question, is there a way of checking the competitive interest rates? I think we should have one more question. Okay, no, those are the only 2 questions that on the Facebook platform.
Okay, thank you, Clarence. Mr. Chukuta, you can help us with those ones. So when is cash deducted? The client says I think they tried to invest, but the money hasn't moved from their account. It's been a week now. That's the
All
first
right.
question. Then the second question
okay.
is speaking to the competitive rate.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Moderator. So in terms of the deduction of funds from the client's account, okay, let me just say this one. So remember that I said the treasury bills are normally held on Thursdays. Okay, so once you place your bid and the auction occurs on Thursday and everything else goes well, you are successful. So what would normally happen is that once it's successful, your account will only be debited on on a Monday following the auction. So for example, today is Thursday. If the auction occurred today, the money will only move from your account on Monday, the following Monday. Same applies for the bond. If the bond happens to be on Friday, and then you are successful, your money will only move from your account on the Monday, the following Monday. So that's what we call settlement date. But then we are alive to the fact that some banks have got challenges with the reconciliations. So when you see that your money has not moved from your account, please contact your commercial bank and find out why it is so. Because as far as we are concerned from Central Bank, your bid is successful, and your account will be liable to pay that money that you had placed. Is that okay, Madam Moderator? Yeah.
Yes, thank
and
you.
Then for in terms of knowing the competitive, well, we don't know how we can do this, but remember that all this information about the rates, the information is there on our website. So you can basically go to our website, have a read through, and check how the behavior of the interest rates have been. And if you've got some other superior information that may advise you, say maybe the rates will go up, then you might place your bid at a higher rate. Or if you think the rate might come down with the information that you have, you're at liberty to also bid at a lower rate. So there's no straight answer to how you can know the competitive rate, but just to have a read and see how the behavior of the rates have been on our website. Maybe that will give you a guide, but there's no straight answer to knowing what the rate will be.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chukuta. Unfortunately, when you are learning so much and having such a good time, time does fly by very fast. So we have come to the end of our town hall. Maybe there's just the last 2 questions. One is asking, can I bid for multiple tenures in the same auction? And then how long does it take to activate the CSD account once one makes an online application?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think that those are valid questions. So yes, the answer to the first question is yes. You're allowed to place bids on all the tenures in one auction. By that, what I mean is that you can place maybe your 5,000 in a 2-year bond, another 5,000 in 3 years, just like that, until you exhaust all the tenures. There are 6 of them. The only restriction which is there is that in the same auction, you cannot place two bids on one bond. For example, you can't place a bid for 10,000 on a 2-year bond, and then you want to place another bid on a 2-year bond for 2,000. That one is you won't be allowed. So on each tenure, you're allowed one bid. And then the other question is what's the turnaround in terms of CSD account creation? It's 48 hours maximum. So basically what this means is that once you have done your registration, the information will come to Bank of Zambia. We'll do the KYC from our end. Once we approve, your information will then be transferred to your commercial bank. So the commercial bank will have to approve whether the account details that you have indicated on your investor portal is correct or not. Perhaps that's where there is a bit of a delay in terms of the completion of the CSD creation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chibuta. Thank you to the Bank of Zambia for affording us an opportunity to collaborate once again during such an important topic of discussion. And thank you to our audience for joining us as we've come to the end of our town hall, both in Zoom also on Facebook. I'd like to invite everybody here to visit us at our stand in the showgrounds, the Securities and Exchange Commission stand, for more information on how you can participate in the bonds as well as in the capital markets. And you can also visit the Bank of Zambia stand in the showgrounds as well if you've got more questions concerning this topic. For the questions that we have not tackled in the chat, what we'll do, as usual, we will have them all answered and circulated to your email addresses that you provided when registering. Thank you so much once again, and I wish you all a lovely afternoon. Mr. Chibuta, thank you once again. Any closing remarks from your end?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sek, and you, Madam Moderator, for this excellent initiative. It's the best way of reaching out to as many clients as possible. As the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And I just want to urge everyone that actually this information is free of charge at Bank of Zambia. We have town hall meetings every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 hours to 12 hours every week. So if you feel you need more information, please feel free to visit us either in Ndola or Bank of Zambia. So for Lusaka, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. For Ndola, it's Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 12 hours. So I'd like to thank you once again and thank everyone else for participating in this town hall meeting.
Okay,
I'm
thank you so
asking
much.
for your number, Mr. Chibuta.
Unfortunately, we don't give personal lines, but let's meet at the show. Where are you? Are you in Osaka? Where are you?
In Eastern.
In Eastern. Oh, well, okay. I think I will talk to my colleagues at SEC to see how they can assist you with your contacts.
Okay, kindly leave your contact in the chat with the indication that you'd like to get in touch with Bank of Zambia. We will facilitate that with Mr. Chibuta so that communication is made. I've seen a hand from Dingase. Dingase, would you like to say something?
Yes, Tali. Thanks very much, Mr. Chibuta. That was a very insightful presentation. We all learned a lot. So Tali, thank you so much. What I wanted to add was just what Mr. Chibuta said also, that we'll be at the agricultural information show. So if they want more information and on any other investment option other than the bonds, as you know, there's much more in the market. There's the shares and the unit trust. They can come to the show and interact with us. Thank you, and back to you, Steph.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Madam,
thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining us. We've come to the end of our town hall today. Please join us again next month at the same time, from 15 to 16 on the last Thursday of August. But please visit our stand as mentioned earlier. Thank you and good afternoon.